14th, 2022 Planning Commission public hearing. My name is Jack Wall and I'm the chairman of the Virginia Beach Planning Commission. Commissioner Horsley will not be in attendance today. Before we get started, I've asked Commissioner Costin to lead us in the prayer. So please stand.
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many blessings, God, that you have afforded to us. God, we ask that you would look on this city, that you would look on us this day, God, as we come to deliberate the issues. God, give us wisdom and knowledge, God, that we may better serve thee and the citizens of Virginia Beach. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
And I've asked Ms. Cuellar to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I've asked Commissioner Frankenfield to introduce the members of the Planning Commission.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. Whoa. All right. Well, I'm Barry Frankenfield. I'm introducing the commissioners, and I always do such a spectacular job at it, so stay tuned. No, I'm just kidding. Next to me is David Bradley. He is representing the Princess Anne District, and he is a retired budget director and knows everything about money. David Weiner is the next commissioner. He is in construction sales, and he is also pitches in as vice chair as often as he can and is the speed reader for short-term rentals. All right. Dee Oliver is at large. She is a funeral director and author and has many entrepreneurial efforts. So thank you for being here. So George Alcaraz, representing the Beach District, is the vice chair. He's an entrepreneur, contractor, restaurant owner, and recently retired from ECSC. So you will not see him at ECSC. Well, you might see him there, but he's not going to be in charge, right? Jack Wall is the chair, and he represents Rosemont. He's a civil engineer, and he works with the Army Corps of Engineers. Don is not here today. Dave Redmond is with the Bayside District, is in commercial real estate, and he is the second longest in years in the Planning Commission after Don Horsley. Let's see, Holly Cuellar is at large. And did I say it right? Cuellar, okay. I've been coached on this as a military spouse and a government consultant, and she's at large. John, let's see, did I do John? I already did. I skipped John. All right, John, skipped John. He's a retired fire captain and our prayer guy. So thank you, John. And then last but not least is Michael Clemens, who's a Centerville district, and he is a professor at ODU. So next to him is our city attorney, Kay Wilson, our deputy city attorney, excuse me. And then to my left is Bobby Tahan, the planning director, and he will introduce his staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Frankenfield. We have clerking today, Pam Stanley and Madison Harris. We have with the planning administration team, Waddell, Marshall Coleman, Michaela McKinney, Elizabeth Nowak. Also, we have with zoning administration, we have Brandon Hackney and Hannah Sabar, our zoning administrator. We have the city's traffic engineer, Rick Lohman, here as well. And we have with the city attorney's office, Victoria Eisenberg.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I've asked, can the clerk please describe the rules and order of business for today's meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Virginia Beach Planning Commission takes pride in being fair and courteous to all parties in attendance. It is important that all involved understand how the Commission normally conducts its meetings. It is equally important that everyone treat each other and the members of the Commission with respect and civility. We request that cell phones be put on silent during this meeting. Following is an abbreviated explanation of the rules. The complete set of rules is located in the front of the Planning Commission agenda. The order of business for this public hearing, withdrawals and deferrals. The chairman will ask if there are any guests who withdraw or defer an item on the agenda. Consideration of these requests will be made first. Consent agenda. The second order of business is a consideration of the consent agenda, which are those items that the Planning Commission believed are unopposed and which have favorable staff recommendation. Regular agenda. The Commission will then proceed with the remaining items on the agenda. Today, we will have both in-person speakers and speakers participating via WebEx. When an agenda item has been called, we will recognize the applicant or their representative first. Following the applicant or their representative, in-person speakers will be called next, and then speakers participating via WebEx. Speakers in support or opposition of an agenda item will have 3 minutes to speak unless they are solely representing a large group, such as a civic league or homeowners association, in which case they will have 10 minutes. Please note that the actions taken by the Commission today are in the form of a recommendation to the Virginia Beach City Council. The final decision to approve or disapprove an application will be made by the City Council. The Commission thanks you for your attendance, and we hope that your experience here today leaves you feeling that you have been heard and treated fairly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. The next order of business is consideration of requests to withdraw or defer an item. Please come forward if you have any items to be withdrawn. Okay, seeing none. The next order of business is the deferral agenda. And please come forward if you have any items to be deferred.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Rob Beeman, local land use attorney with the Troutman Pepper Law Firm, here today on behalf of the applicant for matter number 5. We'd like to request an indefinite deferral. The applicant is continuing to evaluate whether to move forward with the site.
Okay,
thank you very much.
You. Okay, yep.
Hello, good afternoon. Chris Pachta, counsel for Earthscapes Enterprises, LLC. We have items 8, 9, and 10 on the agenda today. I'm with Wolcott Rivers Gates in Virginia Beach, and we are requesting indefinite deferral of this item. We're still coordinating with the Navy for purposes of their easement at the property, and looking to sort of resolve that in tandem.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any objections for these items to be deferred? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to defer agenda items 5, 8, 9, and 10?
Motion to defer.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Alcaraz. Second. Okay, I have a second by Mr. Redmond. Hearing a second, are there any planning commissioners abstaining on these items to be deferred?
Sorry about that.
It's right here.
And then second, okay. Did you get it? Okay, all right, now the
Vote is open.
Thank you.
By recorded vote of 10 in favor, 0 against, agenda items 5, 8, 9, and 10 have all been indefinitely deferred.
Okay, thank you. The next order of business is the consent agenda. And I'm going to turn that over to the vice chair to run that portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. We have 10 items on the consent agenda today. The first item is item number 6 for a car wash facility at 837 Kensville Road. May a representative please come forward? Sir, can you state your name for the record?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Jonathan Dozier with Pannoni. I'll be the civil engineer on this project. I'm here on behalf of Take 5, the applicant. First, I'd like to thank Marshall for all of her assistance with this application, and we appreciate the opportunity. I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all may have. Thank you.
Are the conditions acceptable to you, sir?
Yes, all the conditions are.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I ask Mr. Weiner to please read this item.
Thank you, Mr. Alcaraz. This is a conditional use permit for a car wash on Kempsville Road. The applicant is requesting conditional use permit to redevelop the site with a car wash facility on a B2 community business zone parcel within the Fairfield Shopping Center. It is anticipated that 4 employees will be on site at any one time. The proposal typical hours of operation will be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 to 4 on Sundays. We thought this should go on the consent agenda, and we've done that.
Thank you. The next item on consent is item number 7, and that is for automobile repair garage at 3680 Holland Road. The representative, please come forward. Again, if you can state your name for the record.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Again, this is Jonathan Dozier with Benoni. I'll be the civil engineer on this project as well. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Take 5, and all of the conditions are acceptable.
All right, thank you. Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none, I have Ms. Quaylar, if you could please read this item.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting to modify the conditions of a conditional use permit for an automobile repair garage on the B2 community business zone parcel that was approved by City Council in 1996. Currently, the site is operating as a motor vehicle rental business, which was approved by City Council in 2007. With the approval of this modification request, this auto rental use will be determined as null and void on this property. The applicant is now seeking to convert the use back to the automobile repair garage, specifically for a Take 5 oil change facility. The proposed business will limit repair services to just oil changes. Customers remain in their vehicle while the service is being performed, which only takes typically 10 minutes. Staff has recommended approval, as does the commission, and hearing there's no opposition, we put it on the consent agenda.
Thank you. The next item for consent is item number 14. Oh, did I miss one? Item number 11, I'm sorry. Please come forward. You state your name.
Thank you, Mr. Alcaraz. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, for the record, Eddie Burdon, Virginia Beach attorney representing Mr. and Mrs. Tremaglio on this street closure application. All the conditions as recommended by staff are approved by the applicant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I have John Costin. Please read this item.
The applicants are requesting to close a portion of the platted, unnamed, and unimproved alley that is adjacent to the rear lot line of 209 55th Street. As shown on the submitted street closure exhibit, the proposal includes closure of half the 15-foot wide alley totaling 375 square feet and has incorporated that land into their adjacent residential lot identified as Lot 16, Lot 10 of Ubermere. In 2008, this action was presented and approved, but because we did not get some of the things done that were required, it has been resubmitted, and the staff has advised approval, and the council concurs.
Thank you. The next item on the consent agenda is item number 14 for a tattoo parlor at 1001 Kempsville Road, Suites 1049, 1051, and 1053. Representative, please come forward. State your name for the record.
Yes, Tony Franco. Good afternoon, Commissioning Board. I've been in the military for over 29 years, active duty, getting ready to retire here in January. I've been tattooing for J.D. Crowe. We were the original shop in 2001, so I've been tattooing over here for 20 years. And I was one of the original 12 tattoo artists to get their first tattoo license for Virginia Beach, and I'm just ready to make the next chapter in my life.
Well, good. Congratulations. Thank you. And are you acceptable to the conditions?
I'm acceptable to everything.
Thank you. You can be seated.
Thanks.
Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I have Mr. Bradley, if you could read this.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a traditional tattoo parlor in 3 suites of an existing shopping center. The property is located along Kempsville Road, just south of the intersection with Providence Road in the Providence Square Shopping Center, which is zoned B2 Community Business. The tattoo parlor will occupy 3 units totaling 1,890 square feet. According to the applicant, up to 6 artists will be employed, and the typical hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. Planning staff recommended this. Hearing no opposition, Planning Commission put it on a consent agenda.
Thank you. The next item on the consent agenda is item number 15 for subdivision variance for section 4.4B and D of the subdivision regulations at 3931 Richardson Road. Please come forward. You can state your name, sir, for the record.
Eric Garner with WPL, land surveyor representing the clients Darren and Marcella King. They accept the conditions as noted.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I ask Ms. D. Oliver if she could read this.
Thank you. So this is basically just a cleanup of a piece of property that's was platted before zoning came in. So, and the applicant currently has a house on it, and some accessory buildings are on the property that were constructed in 1930, and this parcel and the adjacent parcel were recorded as one lot in 1924 and 1926, and the parcel was improperly subdivided by deed in 1957 to make 2 lots. The address of this is 3905 and 3931 Richardson Road, and at that time the subdivisions were required to be established via recorded plat. And the shape and the location of the lot are deficient, so that it doesn't have direct access to a public street. And without this access, the lot fails to meet the requirements set forth in section 4.4 of the zoning ordinance for the lot width and the street frontage for the properties that are now zoned R40. So with that, the staff believes that this request is reasonable and it's not unique to the neighborhood, and the applicants are planning on building a new house, which they have some temporary drawings on there of it. And with that, the city staff deems this acceptable, and we do as well, and so we put it on the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. The next item or items, can we do these together or do I do them separately? Mr. Tom, 16, 17?
I think they can be done together. We can have Brandon do them together.
Item 16, 17 for a major entertainment venue for signage, to allow signage for the major entertainment venue in accordance with the section 8.4.4 of the Oceanfront Resort Form-Based Code. And item 17 for a request to modify the conditions of the alternative compliance to allow an increased height in light poles. It's my understanding Brandon will be speaking for this. Come forward, please.
You may want to have the applicant come forward, and then Brandon can read it into the record.
First?
Yes.
Okay. May the applicant please come forward? Sir, if you can just state your name for the record.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Culpepper on behalf of Atlantic Park, Inc. and Venture Waves, LLC, and we certainly support the conditions set forth.
On both items?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need Brandon? If he's, okay. Sorry, Brandon. Come forward, please. Just state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Brandon Hackney. Good afternoon, Commissioners. The applicant is requesting, for the first application, 2 major entertainment venue signs in accordance with Section 8.4.4 of the Oceanfront Resort Form-Based Code. The zoning lot for this proposal spans a block bordered by Arctic and Baltic Avenues and 19th and 20th Streets, and a double block bordered by Pacific and Arctic Avenues and 18th and 20th Streets. On August 20th, 2021, City Council granted approval for the special exception of alternative compliance for the Atlantic Park development. This request is for the approval of 2 major entertainment venue signs, which will be installed on the 2 mixed-use buildings proposed within that development. There will be one sign on the east side of the building along 20th Street facing east on what is referred to as the west block. And the second sign will be installed on the south side of the east block building along Pacific Avenue facing south. The first sign, which is along 20th Street, will be 36 feet by 20 feet, totaling 720 square feet, with a pixel pitch of 6 millimeters and illumination levels not to exceed 250 nits. And the display will have static images and text not less than a dwell time of 8 seconds. The second sign along Pacific Avenue will be 15.5 feet by 26 feet 9 inches, totaling approximately 415 square feet, with the 6 millimeter pixel pitch, 250 nits for illumination levels, and will have static text and images, and will also display live surfing from the surf park on the sign along Pacific Avenue.
Thank you. For the record, is there any opposition to this being in place on the consent agenda? All right, thank you. Thank you, sir.
And the next request is to modify the conditions of the alternative compliance to allow an increased height for light poles, as the Oceanfront Resort Form-Based Code limits the height for the outdoor lighting to 30 feet. This is also for the same zoning lot spanning between Arctic and Baltic Avenues and 19th and 20th Streets, and the double block bordering Pacific and Arctic Avenues and 18th and 20th Streets. And as mentioned in the prior request, City Council granted approval for special exception for alternative compliance for the Atlantic Park development on August 20th, 2021. And this request is to add a condition to the alternative compliance and keep the existing conditions remaining to allow one 60-foot light pole and 4 70-foot light poles within the surf park facility. The light source will be LED full cutoff fixtures and will have no light trespass onto the adjacent properties. The shielding of the fixtures will block the light source or bulb from being seen when standing at a distance, mitigating light pollution into the right-of-way and onto the adjacent properties. And the foot candles provided in the photometric plan will taper off to 0 surrounding the entire property, where no light should trespass past the curb line around this property.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to this being placed on the consent agenda? All right, thank you, sir. The next item is item number 18 for a short-term rental at 4005 Atlantic Avenue, Unit 207. Is there a representative available? Just state your name for the record, please.
Thomas Cunningham.
You accept the conditions?
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. If I could have, is there any opposition to this item being on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll have Mr. Weiner read this.
Thank you, Mr. Alcarez. This is a request for a short-term rental at 4005 Atlantic Avenue, Unit 207 in the OR District, and we have placed this on the consent agenda.
We're going to strike.
No, not that one. Next. 19. Isn't it 19?
No, it's 18, sir.
Was it 18? Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back a minute. Number 18, condition number 4, we are striking, which there does not need to have any additional parking. Let me get down there real quick. Extra parking is not needed. We're striking condition 4 of this.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
The next item is item number, is that 19? I'm sorry, I lost my page.
Yep, 19.
And that is short-term rental at 303 Atlantic Avenue, Unit 1005. Is the representative here? Just come forward, please, and state your name.
Naomi Lamore Sedek for Susan Lamore.
You accept all the conditions?
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I ask Mr. Weiner again to read this item.
Thank you, sir. This is a conditional use permit for a short-term rental at 303 Atlantic Avenue, Unit 105. It is in the OR District, and we have placed this on a consent agenda.
All right, thank you. And the last item on the consent agenda is item number 20, for a short-term rental at 304 26 and a half Street, Unit B. Representative, please come forward. You can just state your name for the record, sir.
My name is Greg Zinnes.
And do you accept the conditions?
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. Is there any opposition to this item being placed on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I have Mr. Weiner again to
Thank you,
read
Mr.
this.
Alcaraz. This is a conditional use permit for a short-term rental at 304 26.5 Street, Unit B, which is also in the OR District, Ocean Resort District, and we have placed this on the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chair, that's the last item of the 10 items, and those on consent are 6, 7, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 with a modification, 19, and 20.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve by consent as read by the vice chair?
Motion.
Okay, I've got a motion by Mr. Alcaraz. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Cuellar. Okay.
The vote is open. By a vote of 10 in favor, 0 against, agenda items 6, 7, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 with conditions as modified, 19 and 20 have all been recommended for approval by consent.
Okay, thank you. If you had an application that was on the consent agenda, your request will now be scheduled for an upcoming city council meeting. Staff will contact you about the date. For those applicants on the consent agenda, thank you for your participation. And you can remain in the meeting either virtually or in person, but you're free to leave. We'll give you a few minutes. Thank you. The next order of business is the regular agenda. So we're going to hang on for just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first regular agenda item today will be agenda items 1 and 2, Build Senior Living LLC, applications for a conditional rezoning AG1 and AG2 agricultural districts to conditional O1 office district, and a conditional use permit, housing for seniors and disabled persons on parcels on the north side of the intersection of Princess Anne Road and Tournament Drive, west of 2708 Princess Anne Road in Council District 2, formerly the Princess Anne District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Rob Beeman. I'm a local land use attorney with the Troutman Pepper Law Firm here today on behalf of the applicant, Build Senior Living LLC. Joining me virtually this afternoon is the principal of Build Senior Living, Shahid Imran. We also have our civil engineering consultant from Timmons Group with us today as well. This application involves an approximate 10-acre site on Princess Anne Road, just across from the TPC, the former TPC golf course. The applicant proposes an 88-unit assisted living facility, 24 units of which would be memory care, together with a package of indoor and outdoor amenities that would include a salon, a spa, library, a theater, store, and transportation to surrounding land uses. The applicant believes this site is particularly well suited for assisted living for a couple of reasons. First, it's located in proximity to the hospital and to the civic center and the post office, and also several shopping uses that would be helpful for the folks living here. Secondly, this use would have minimal impacts on surrounding properties. It generates very little in the way of traffic, light, or noise. And so it is compatible with the residential and church uses that are surrounding it. In terms of public outreach, the applicant's representatives reached out to a number of adjacent property owners, including a meeting with the next door church. The overwhelming majority of the folks have been supportive. I do understand that Ms. Hulbert may be registered to speak via WebEx, and she may have some concerns. We did attempt to reach out to Ms. Hulbert. We're unsuccessful in contacting her, but we're certainly happy to address her concerns today and to schedule a meeting after this hearing as well to address any additional concerns. With that, we thank you very much for your consideration, and we'll stand by for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Beeman? I've got a few things. So how many senior living facilities does this business operate?
They have a number of facilities throughout the Midwest, and they are now in the East. They have several sites that are under development in Virginia, one other in Hampton Roads, one in Richmond, I believe, and then one in the western part of the state.
Okay, so are they currently under, are they being operated? I mean, is it already built?
They have a number that are operating in other states. I think all of them in Virginia are under construction or in the site plan review process.
Okay. All right, anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, we have one speaker. It is via WebEx, calling Rachel Hulbert. You may begin your comments. Ms. Hulbert, you may begin your comments.
Television team, they can hear the speaker on the WebEx, but we cannot hear them in the chambers.
Copy that. This is the booth. We are troubleshooting as we speak, though we do not have direct control on that. We are contacting right now, but I would advise to move on or circle back and we'll try and have it fixed by then.
Mr. Chairman, we have no other speakers.
Okay, thank you. So for this, Mr. Tahan, would you like to, can we move this to the end? If she isn't able, if we're still trying to troubleshoot her comments that she's got. So we're going to have that
We have
issue
3
as well.
speakers for the next item. 1 is WebEx, 2 are not.
Right. The public hearing for this one's already open, so I'd see if we can find out from the television team. But as noted in the speaker policy, if they're unable to, if their comments are unintelligible, we will skip over them.
Okay, yeah, I see that. And understood, in the past, it was more, sometimes it was on the speaker's end, but in this case, it seems like it's on our end. So I don't know if that weighs in on this.
We're trying our best to troubleshoot that now, Mr. Chair. This is at your discretion at this point.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody virtually on the next application? Oh, we do. Okay. But we do have in-person speakers as well for that one, I believe. So.
Ms. Hulbert, we're going to try again. If you would begin your comments.
Hi, this is Rachel. Can you hear me okay?
Just hard to It's going to echo, so if we, let's let her try to talk and see if we can understand her now. No? Okay.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
All right.
Okay. Let's come back to this. So do you think that we can keep trying to do a workaround, or is this it for the? Is the last time virtual too? We got 3 others here. Yeah, there's a virtual for that, but not for the.
It's my understanding that items 3 and 4 have virtual speakers. I think the other item that you're hearing is 12 and 13. I don't believe there are no virtual speakers for 12 and 13.
Yeah, there are no virtual. Let's come back to this. This has gone pretty quickly. We'll rehear that one. We'll rehear number 1. We'll skip number 2 and we'll go to can we go to 12 and 13?
Okay, can we close the public hearing on number, whatever one we're on now, 1 and 2,
1 and 2.
And then we'll move on the agenda to 11 and 12. And then we'll open that public hearing.
To 12 and 13.
12 and 13, excuse me.
Okay, so I don't know if we're going to get this fixed in 10 minutes, which it looks like we're still working on it.
Mr. Chairman, we have no timeline on
Yeah,
the
let's go to
fix
12
for
and
this.
13. I'm going to close the public hearing for agenda items 1 and 2, and we're going to move to 12 and 13 and give a few minutes to try to work through that in order to allow the speaker to get on for agenda items number 1 and 2. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand we've closed the public hearing on agenda items 1 and 2, and we're going to move on forward on the agenda to agenda items 12 and 13. Correct. Agenda items 12 and 13, Bel Air LLC and Take 5 Properties SPV LLC. Their applications for conditional use permits, car wash facility, and automobile repair garage at 1552 General Booth Boulevard in Council District 5, formerly the Princess Anne District. Would the applicant or the applicant's representative please step to the podium and state your name, please?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
For the record, my name is Chris Wood. I represent item number 13 as both the applicant and the landowner. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh, get you. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. You're going to speak on behalf. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Again, my name is Jonathan Dozier. I'm with Pannoni. I'll be the civil engineer on this project as well. Okay. I'm here on behalf of Take 5 and happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Oh, okay. Can you describe the application?
Yes. So this application will be for the development of a car wash and a Take 5 oil change. I'm only responsible for the Take 5 portion, which will be a lease of the parcel. The remaining portion of the parcel will be with the car wash. They are using the existing entrance that's located at the 7-Eleven on General Booth Boulevard, as well as a connection to the access road to the west or east. The stormwater management will be handled with the car wash and the master plan for the rest of the development. So.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? I do have a question, and I'm the one who brought this up. In looking at the different elevation views of the different building facades in the area, I noticed that the banner, there's a lot of marketing and branding that goes along with these Take 5s, including the bright red banner that goes across. I felt that it would be an improvement and match the surrounding businesses if that banner were no longer there. And so I'd like to add a condition to it. So that's why we're
similar to the one at Laskin.
At Laskin Road,
yes, they are completely acceptable with having that modification.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. All right, seeing that there are no speakers, I'm going to open the floor for discussion or to entertain a motion. Mr. Weiner.
Yes. I know we discussed this in our informal about the stripe on it. I preferably have no problem with it. I don't think staff would bring this in front of us if there wasn't something they've already evaluated. So I'm personally fine with it, and I'm able to move forward with the way it looks right now.
Okay. Anybody else?
If not, I'd make a motion for approval.
Okay. I would support that, but I'd like to make a motion with condition that the that the banner be removed as part of this project application.
Well, you'd have to make a second a motion, because my motion would be move forward as it is. So if you'd
Okay,
like to make-
all right, thank you.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
I'd like to second Mr. Wiener's motion.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Then it will go forward without the banner. I'm going to go forward with the banner without the condition. Okay. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Wiener and a second by Mr. Bradley.
Okay, the vote is open.
Okay.
By recorded vote of 10 in favor, 0 against, agenda items 12 and 13 have been recommended for approval with conditions as written. Mr. Chair, do we want to go back to 1 and 2 or try 3 and 4?
Yeah, because 3 and 4 is going to have virtual speakers as well. So let's go ahead and
Okay, calling agenda items 1 and 2 again, Build Senior Living LLC, applications for conditional rezoning, AG1 and AG2 agricultural districts, 2 conditional O1 office district, and a conditional use permit, housing for seniors and disabled persons on parcels on the north side of the intersection of Princess Anne Road and Tournament Drive, west of 2708 Princess Anne Road in Council District 2, formerly the Princess Anne District.
Okay.
Do we want to move
I think you're
forward with-
reopening the public hearing for this. We can retry this. Do we know if,
Call the speaker.
Madam Clerk, please call the speaker.
Calling our WebEx speaker, Rachel Hulbert. Ms. Hulbert, you may begin your comments. Mr. Chairman, it appears we are still having audio difficulties.
Okay, with that, then I'll close it, close the comments from any speakers, and since we don't have any comments, there's no reason for rebuttal. Then open it up for discussion among the planning commissioners.
Make a motion.
Or make a motion, yes.
Make a motion that we accept this application, please.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Oliver. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a second by Mr. Wiener.
Vote is open. By a vote of 10 in favor, 0 against, agenda items 1 and 2 have been recommended for approval. Mr. Chairman, calling our last agenda items for the day.
Stanley, if we can handle. Mr. Beeman, if I can make a request for you to reach out to the caller, because we were unable to have the discussion. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I just say to all those folks who are involved in this, and the folks who are watching on TV, I know this can be a little bit frustrating, but there's a lot of new technology in this building, and we're throwing a lot of things together at once. So please be patient with these folks. They're doing their best to try and make all this stuff work, but it may take a little more time to work those kinks out. So we just all have to be patient. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Calling our last agenda items 3 and 4, SXCW Properties 2 LLC, applications for conditional use permits, car wash facility, and automobile service station at 3264 Holland Road in Council District 3, formerly the Rose Hall District. Would the applicant or the applicant's representative please step to the podium and state your name?
Good afternoon.
Please state your name for the record.
Yes, hi. My name is Chris Pakta. I'm a local real estate and land use attorney with Wolcott Rivers Gates. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I want to thank the staff, the planning staff, for many hours dedicated to coordinating on this and resolving some issues and putting forth this plan. I think Mr. Dow has probably returned more of my phone calls than he intended to at the beginning, and their office has been extremely communicative and helpful. So I wanted to thank them. Also thank the residents of the nearby Scarborough Square and the adjacent properties. I've had the chance to meet a lot of folks in those neighborhoods, and their insights and opinions and input has been really valuable and listened to in developing this project. A little bit of introduction to my client. They're Sam's Car Wash, so SXCW Properties 2 LLC is the owner of the property, and they operate as Sam's Express Car Wash. And they're based out of Matthews, North Carolina. Two of the folks from the corporate office have actually come up here today, traveled about 5 hours or so to be here. They've met with some of the residents, and they're here to speak as well, should any questions arise for them. This is going to be their second site in Virginia Beach. So one was approved a few months ago on Sandbridge and Fisher Arch, and they look forward to expanding and investing in our community. A few things about them as well. They hire from the local community, so we're in a time where I think hiring is an issue, and Sam's invests in the local community to provide employment opportunities. They've also contributed a great deal on all their sites, and this one will be no exception, to the local community's nonprofits, sports leagues. They've contributed over $500,000 in the short time that they've been open for the last decade to nonprofits and some of the sites in which they serve. And they're very environmentally friendly. They recycle about 90% of the water that they use. They use biodegradable chemicals, and they're a privately owned and operated company. A little bit of background about this particular project. I think it's warranted just sort of based on the history, if you don't mind. But the property has been zoned B2 for over a decade. There was previously a shopping center that was approved on this site by a different applicant. But back in 2017, this applicant put forward 2 applications for conditional use permits for a car wash and gas sales like this one. And that was before most of the other shopping center that has the Lidl on it, the tea shop, and some of those other things had been built out. It was about 5 years ago. Our clients have since purchased the land. And initially, that 2017 application was recommended for approval by this planning commission. But the plan then was a bit different than now, and I wanted to describe some of those differences because I think they're very relevant, especially with community engagement. Previously, there was an out parcel as part of this proposal that had the option to subdivide a separate, I believe, 2-acre parcel for another B2 use, a by right use even. And at that time, some of the residents, I should say, in the adjacent Scarborough Square, Cardinal Estates, and Holland Farms neighborhood, they expressed some opposition and concern about primarily traffic, but also crime and noise. And so when it went to council, the matter was deferred, and then our client withdrew the application so to engage the community, to get additional feedback, to see how the plan could perhaps be revised to meet and address some of the concerns of the community. And so that's exactly what they've done. Over the course of the last 5 years, you will see on the site plan some significant changes. The first and probably the most significant is the removal of that out parcel. It would have, under a previous plan, allowed another B2 use to go in there, generating a significant amount of traffic. So that, and addressing the community's concerns about traffic, that has been removed. It's been replaced with a BMP and a walking trail. And I've personally gone door to door, met several of the residents, and many of them are very excited about the opportunity to walk or jog or take their dogs or kids on the walking trail itself. So that's a significant change. They've replaced that out parcel, as I mentioned, not only with the walking trail, but there's some open space there that wasn't there previously. So benches, there's that BMP and some additional landscaping, so some additional green. And then also they've added a turn lane. So there's a turn lane that's going on to the site from Warwick, and there's no longer any ingress or egress from Holland. So there won't be any ingress or egress from Holland. There's no ingress egress from Old Clubhouse, and only a turn in exactly opposite to the other turn into Lidl. This is the turn in from Warwick. We've had the chance, as I mentioned, over the course of the last 5 years to revise the site plan to address some of the community's concerns, but especially over the course of the last couple of months. We've met in person with some residents. We've held a virtual meeting for those who had COVID concerns to hear some additional concerns or comments about the plan to get some feedback. And as I mentioned, I personally and some other residents have gone door to door to get feedback. In fact, one resident, a resident of Holland Farms who oversees their neighborhood watch, she engaged some residents and had a petition. I think there were about 70 to 75 people that signed that petition in support of the project. We recognize there are ongoing complaints and concerns, just as there was in 2017, and our client has done their best and worked tirelessly with their engineers, with city planning, to address those concerns, and I believe has done a very good job of doing so. There were some other questions that had come up with planning about hours of operation, and then also maybe some additional landscaping along Old Clubhouse Road. And so our client has agreed to add some additional landscaping along Old Clubhouse Road there. Right now, there are presently canopy trees that are along the road there that you'll see, but they're going to further supplement the landscaping there to shield any additional noise or lighting or things like that to address that concern. We also have an agreement as of the last 30 minutes, we've gotten approval from corporate headquarters to reduce the hours to 8 o'clock to be consistent with some of the other neighboring car washes in the area. However, we've also received some feedback from residents who have said that they would prefer the car wash to stay open at the original time, which was to close at 9 p.m. So what we'd like to do is to continue engaging the community to see what the preference is there. So again, that's the project. It's 2 conditional use permit applications before you all. And I have 2 members of the team from Sam's Car Wash to answer any additional questions, provide any additional feedback, and then obviously I'm here for questions as well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have 3 speakers signed up for this, 2 in person and 1 WebEx. I'm going to call the in-person speakers first. Linda Russell, followed by Deborah Wilson.
I'm Linda Russell, and I live in Cardinal Estates. But my son moved out of my house in '80, and he lives in Scarborough Square, okay? So I kind of know about both neighborhoods. And I know all of y'all, except I think these 3 here. And I would like for you to approve this. I think it's a good, I've been there since I know I loaded you down with emails. I've been there since the beginning. My neighborhood was first, and then, the rest is common. I'm okay with all the development. We opened Holland Swamp Road was what it was called when I came. And, horse and buggies and Mennonites and all that, and a one-room schoolhouse. It's just, it's just been amazing. This has been my journey. And this will close that journey, except for right near Ship's Corner Road. We have a bunch of trees right there, and what's going to happen is they're going to put a storage unit up there. And so Barbara Henley and myself and all the Parks and Rec people so go out and eat, because we're going to use that meal tax to buy that piece. So this will fill up the whole area. I've seen it all. I've seen everything. And so I think, we spend a lot of money getting people here. These people chose us, okay? And, we didn't have to spend any money to get them here. It's like, and they've been over backwards. And I hope y'all approve it again, okay? And I'm okay with if Lidl's lit up like a Christmas tree till 9 o'clock, I don't see any reason that they can't stay till 9 o'clock, okay? And it's getting in traffic and getting home and, going out and getting a car washed. You're almost like that. You almost have to have those hours, But that's okay. The traffic's good. And you see down Holland Road, we're tearing down. It's just amazing. It's just time. It's just time for us to do that. And Holland Road was open for that reason, so let them build. And something you asked about the church, could they make a little walkway? You know, the one for us, the church, could they make a walkway into? When we took the break, I went over there and asked them if they could do that, and they said yes. So and they would be happy because they have kids in there, you know, kids and seniors supposed to go together. They have a food bank there.
You could
They
stick to this. Stick to this application.
What?
Stick to this application.
Well, I'm too. Oh, sorry.
Almost.
Oh,
You got just a
okay,
few
but
seconds
anyway,
left.
like I said, I went there and they were okay with. And if you want to pass that on, you know, to the client, or maybe I'll see them, city council or something, they're happy with that. And you know, so if you want to like.
All right, Ms. Russell, we appreciate your comments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Mrs. Russell. It's always nice to see you.
Deborah Wilson.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Wilson, and I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 items that I'm going to discuss with you today. It's going to be brief and short. Number 1, United States is a capitalist society. You have 2 types of organizations here. We have commercials, non-commercials. Sam's is a commercial company, and that's what your capitalist society is based on. Non-commercials, non-profit organizations. We went through this before several years. I was here several years ago before you. We have not had any non-commercial business that came before you that are willing to develop the property. Next, we have church. We haven't had any that have come forward before you. We have government, you, and the city. You could have bought the land. The land has already been to 3 different hands, right? You didn't buy it. You haven't suggested to do anything there for the community. So Sam's have suggested that they are going to put a car wash and a gas station, and it's going to profit our community. So I'm supportive of that. Number 2, time of operation. Almost every business on Holland Road closes at 9 p.m., except Walmart. Walmart closes at 11. Food Lion closes at 11. Lidl closes at 9. And all the other businesses, Hardee's, Wendy's, that are all built during the course of the time that we have been fighting to build this car wash here, they all closes way past 9 o'clock. In terms of our neighborhood noise control, we have up until 10 o'clock to make noise in our community. If the car wash closes at 10, they are in the limits of the community and what we expect. I've taken the time, 2 days, walked my entire community, the entire Holland Farms, and I've had the signatures, I think I've produced them to you today, of many people who are in agreement with having the company there. And that took me a lot of time. That took me a whole tank of gas also. So I need my gas. Last, respect for the environment. I think he showed you what they're going to do with a portion of the land. And I love the idea and the community, because when I went to every house in Holland Farms in the last 48 hours, everybody agreed and enjoyed the environmental portion, having the trees, having the benches for the kids, having the dog walk, etc. So a lot of people agreed, and Lynn is from Cardinal State. She covered Cardinal State. I covered Holland Farms. And I covered the exact portion behind, which is Yarborough Way, which is behind the car wash. And as you can see, we had about 3 people going to show up, and they're not, because they agree with us now.
I appreciate it. Yeah, your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on. Can you stay up there, please? Are there any questions for the speaker? Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your comments.
Our final speaker is WebEx. Calling Theodore Jameson. Mr. Jameson, please begin your comments. Yes, we can hear you.
we can also build our community up the proper way when it comes to capitalism, commerce, and things like that. I'm willing to help. I don't agree to an additional car wash, an additional fuel pump area. Lidl makes sense because Lidl goes to the community. Well, Lidl doesn't go into the community, but we can buy our groceries and everything from this particular place. As far as like job opportunities and things like that, with a self-service car wash, there won't be many people employed. So Lidl will employ a lot more, in my opinion, people versus a self-serve car wash. Excuse me, also have a dog. But again, I don't want to hold anybody's time. I'm speaking for all these other courts that were not present in the physical building. I'm speaking for Saxon Court. I'm speaking for Barbaro Court. I'm speaking for Scarborough Way all the way in the back. I'm speaking for those that I've grown up with, went to school with, still in the community, still here. That space has been vacant for a very long time. But we're looking for something to build for the community. The kids in Scarborough Square need something that they can go to, someplace that they can be accepted outside of just washing their car or pumping their gas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? Okay. Seeing none, will the applicant please come up for rebuttal? Okay.
Yeah, just to speak to a few things from Mr. Jameson. First, I wanted to thank him and all the residents who've come out to the meetings over the last couple of weeks and months to express their opinions. There was a concern in 2017 by some folks about traffic, and Mr. Jameson has expressed the same thing. And I think a really significant response to that, as a matter of fact, is that there could potentially be 2 to 3 by right B2 uses, each of them generating a lot more traffic than this proposal. I think it's a really significant point that rang true in 2017, also rings true today. But we hear Mr. Jameson and also the residents there, which is why I myself walked along that street and knocked on doors and talked to folks. And this was a concern by a few folks, but there was equally, and if not more, support of the actual plan, primarily because the actual site itself, the car wash facility, is 350 feet from the nearest residence, whereas if the property were subdivided and there were 2 B2 uses, potentially 3, there would be construction and building significantly closer to properties. So, but with that, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Yeah, Ms. Oliver.
So I'd like to, and as you and I have had a couple conversations now, but, and I applaud this company for the location and the BMP and all the wonderful things that they've done with this piece of property to enhance it as far as outdoor recreation and where they've placed the vacuums and also the drying mechanism for the car wash. With that, though, we have several letters of the neighborhood, and one of them actually, and I don't know if he's the president of the Civic League, but he does list himself as the Civic League that is in opposition of this. And so even though they're not here, I do read the letters, and they do wait. Probably most of those people in that neighborhood don't have the ability to stop in the middle of the day and come forward and speak. And I appreciate the landscaping increase because I think that's warranted with the close proximity of these townhouses with this gas station and the car wash. All that being said, the other car washes in the city of Virginia Beach, even cars, I just looked up the one on the corner of Lynn Haven and Holland, they don't open until 8 a.m. and they do close at 7. The other 2 applications that we have heard today, they close at 7, which I appreciate the 8 o'clock, but this is a family-owned business. They can certainly close at 7, and they are really close to these homes. And more than likely that these houses have lots of children in them, and all of these people have jobs. And this is a car wash. It's not a grocery store. So it's not availing itself to a daily need of the surrounding neighborhoods. And I'm just, as much as I like this car wash, and the gas station's open till 10, so that makes itself useful with a convenience store, I assume, is with it as well, as long as with vending machines. I think there are vending machines in this too, but I personally would like to see it just sort of follow suit with the other car washes that we have in town. And a lot of them are family-owned as well. And so that I'd like to see the hours to 7. And that's kind of where I am with that.
If I may speak to that? Ms.
Yeah, absolutely, please do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I appreciate that input, and we have been going back to the drawing board, I think, multiple times with some of you and also with staff, and seeing how things can be revised to address some of these concerns. I think the first one is that as far as the hours of operation, our client offers, well, first I'll say their primary concern is customer service. They want to provide the best customer experience that they can. And from what I've seen, they achieve that. But one of those things that makes them rather unique, I think, is that they offer a membership opportunity. So we just had, for example, we had a plan approved for Sandbridge and Fisher Arch, and that's going to be open until 9 p.m. And every single one of their sites is open until 9 p.m. And what they'll do is they'll offer a membership opportunity where you could buy a membership with the company, and that could avail you to a car wash at Sandbridge or Holland Road or up in Richmond or down in North Carolina. And so they have found that when you vary as far as company policy and procedures, as timing and mechanisms and equipment that they use, it confuses the customer a bit. And like I said, their primary objective is customer experience. There are 2 other car washes within a 4-mile radius. One's a Grand Slam and one is an Auto Bell, and they're both open until 8 o'clock. Also, 2.5% of their customers only come after 8. And so it's a really reduced amount of customers that are going to the car wash at that time. So there's not a traffic concern at that time. But I will say also that their model and the service that they provide is very different than, for example, Car Spa, which is down the street, or Auto Bell. They don't have folks out there, trying to vacuum and wash cars after dark. And so that's a significant reason why some of those other companies close up early, because you can't see the car that you're washing or vacuuming after the sun sets. Our applicant has a very different model. And so that's one reason they do that. And I think a final point, which is very important, is that I believe by law, because they offer gas, they have to have folks on site until that gas closes up. And those other companies, or some of them at least, that have car washes but no gas, they don't have that additional restriction or that additional requirement, but our folks do. So anyways, that's why what we'd like to do is to continue talking to the neighbors to see if, some have expressed that they'd like it open until 9, to see if we can provide the best decision to make for the neighbors, for the residents, which so far from what we've heard is only in support of keeping open till 9, and no opposition or complaints from residents about hours being too late.
So I just want to make sure I understand, because you referred to, Splash Show's one, Car Spa's another. They're all vacuum stations. So, but you have vacuum stations. So who's doing the vacuuming there?
Yeah.
The customer, or do you have people vacuuming at this gas station?
Yeah, we do have folks on site, and if I do, because perhaps I have some additional time, I'd love for an officer from the community to speak on that.
I'm asking specifically, who is doing the vacuuming? Is it the person that owns the car, or is it like Auto Bell where they come outside and they have employees that are vacuuming and drying the cars?
Yeah, there are employees there on site doing the vacuuming, but I would like for them to further explain the process if they can.
But I guess you, and maybe I misunderstood you because you said the other ones close at 7 because of daylight and the vacuuming. So what, do you have more lights? What makes it so that you're able to stay open or after dark for the vacuums? That's where I'm confused now.
Right. Yeah. If I can, I'd like to invite Mr. Warren up to speak on that difference there. He has a lot more experience and insight into this particular issue than I do. So if that's all right with the commission.
Sure. Come on up. Sure.
Good afternoon. I'm Anthony Warren. I'm the development manager with Sam's Express Car Wash. Been in the car wash industry since I was 16 years old. I actually used to work for Auto Bell. So I'll tell you a little bit about the differences in business models. So we are an express self-service car wash. So we have the vacuum stations, but the customers vacuum it themselves. Over half of our customers actually do not vacuum their cars. They go through the car wash and they leave. Where at Auto Bell, the car spa right around the corner, they're what's considered a flex serve or a full serve, where the employees are the ones vacuuming the car, they're cleaning the interiors of the vehicles. And so the hours of operations typically are shorter, because if you've ever tried to vacuum a car at night, once it's dark outside, it's very tough. And so for them to maintain quality and customer expectations, you can put all the lighting in the world there and you're still not going to see in a dark car at night. So for us, half of our customers don't vacuum in an express model. So, a lot of our customers come through, they get the car washed and then off they go. And so that's what makes us a little bit different. The express model is designed to be 3 to 5 minutes curb to curb. You can vacuum it for an hour if you'd like, but majority of our customers are in and out in less than 10 minutes. So it's a little bit different than what you see at the other locations.
So then your model is basically the same as Splash Show, which is the same model.
Yes. I'm not familiar with it.
It's the same. It's basically the same thing. We just approved one probably about 30 minutes ago. So it's the same thing. It's an express, same model. I use it. I have a membership. It's across the street from our business.
Yep.
They close at 7 because you can't vacuum in the dark.
Yes, ma'am. The Go Car Wash is one of our competitors in multiple markets and goes right around the corner and goes open till 8. And the real reason that we stay open longer is because we sell fuel. We're considered a manned fuel station. So we sell Exxon branded fuel, and we're required to be open a certain amount of hours to hold the Exxon brand. And then we are required to, by the state, to have employees there in case of emergency spills, et cetera. And so because of that, we keep the car wash open till 9, even though very few customers use it after about 8 p.m., just because we're already paying the staff to be there. Rather than just kind of sitting around waiting, watching the people pump gas. We keep the car wash open we have 40,000 club plan members. And so it's just a convenience thing for them. They could come in a little bit later. But like Chris spoke to, we're more than happy to dial that back to 8 p.m. and keep the fuel open till 10. We can get some cleaning done, et cetera.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions for applicants? Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, I do have one question. The dryers. So, the vacuums are one thing, but the dryers are something else. And, it's my experience from one car wash. I think it was Grand Slam, was that the residents didn't necessarily hear the vacuums, but it was the dryer at the end of the tunnel. Can you describe that a little bit?
The drying systems?
The drying system.
Is it concerned with noise? Okay, perfect. So this is not the first site we've ran into noise. So we've actually are installing a new drying system. It's the only OSHA compliant drying system that's sold. It's called the International Drying Corporation Stealth Drying System. I provided Chris with the brochure that actually provides the acoustic decibel levels for the drying system, and it was developed for this specific use in the car wash industry where noise is a concern. So We're installing a new drying system. We're starting it at our site in Rock Hill that's under construction currently. And as we're moving forward, we're spending a little more money and investing in it because it's a better quality car and it's substantially quieter.
Okay. Do you have the decibels compared to a standard?
I don't have it right here in front of me.
Like the comparison between the two, like this, unique drying system compared to. And it is noted that the drying is on the Holland Road side, and that the building, I think, as measured, is 300 feet. Is that so? It's a football.
Approximately 350 feet.
350. So it's about football field, a little bit more.
Perfect. Give me a second, and I'll be more than happy to pull it up. I'm sorry.
Oh, take your time. That's fine. I think we're.
So the system that is proposed is rated at 68 decibels, 55 feet from the drying system.
68 decibels, 55 feet from the drying system. Okay.
And I could be more than happy to get you a little more thorough. Our supplier can get us a little more thorough report on, distances and the sound associated with it.
Okay. All right. I do have one question. It looks like and this actually gets away from the noise, but it's kind of tied to it. That pipe, the outfall pipe from the BMP, so that's going to the ditch. There's a stand of trees that's parallel to the drainage ditch right there. Looks like the property line stops well short of that. Do you know where in relation to that property line that stand of trees that's parallel to the ditch is located?
I do not off the top of my head. I would have to consult my civil engineer on that one.
Okay, because it appears that it's, which will help buffer the noise to Holland somewhat, not a great extent, but it's going to separate the other use, which is the other business, another car wash on the other side of that ditch. But it looks like that row of trees is going to be maintained. I was just curious if you were that.
And all of the landscaping that we're proposing would fall into our maintenance and service on our own landscaping, the contracts we put together. We've actually been landscaping this property for the past 5 years at a cost of about $1,000 a month to keep it really nicely maintained. And we do that at all of our facilities. So anything that would fall on the property, the shared space, and any of the landscaping we'd be putting in would be taken care of by us.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions? All right. All right, thank you all. I appreciate it. I'm going to open the floor for discussion. Anybody like to start?
Jack, I got one thing.
Okay.
Marshall, was this yours? Whose was this? This is yours. There's a typo in it. Did you all notice that? Yeah, it's at the bottom of page 2. It's the last. It says a car wash will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure you're aware of that.
That has been corrected.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anybody else? Yeah, Mr. Redmond.
A couple things. First off, I just looked it up, and 70 decibels is about the sound of a washing machine or a dishwasher. So that doesn't trouble me a whole lot. I do want to say I think the applicant's representative, Mr. Pachta, did a fine job of explaining the differences between this and a number of other applications that we've seen in the past, and some of the improvements that were made, and some of those are driven by stormwater requirements that caused a lot of moving of pieces on the chessboard. But there's a lot on here, and typically with we're talking about landscape a little bit. There's already a lot of landscaping on this plan. So any addition to landscaping on this would strike me as really very salutary. This hours thing, I'm a little bit baffled by. There is life that exists in the commercial sector past 9 p.m. Bars and restaurants are open past 9 p.m. The idea that you can't wash your car later than 8 p.m. strikes me as kind of a little bit silly, and I'll bet your enterprises throughout the Charlotte area, I know you're all over the Charlotte area because I've seen them. I bet you the vast majority of them are open until 9 p.m. and there's no problem whatsoever with any kind of surrounding business or house or school or place of worship or anything else. So some things I think we really overdo this. I took my daughter to an art class last night. It goes from 6 to 8 p.m. Well, I spent those hours between 6 and 8 p.m. doing things. I didn't go home. I went over to the auto parts store and I got some wiper blades, and then I pulled some stuff out of the car. And I actually thought about washing my car, but I didn't have enough time before I had to go get her. I wouldn't have been able to if the thing's open until 7 p.m. For crying out loud, I do things later than 7 p.m. I think the vast majority of people do. And these neighbors want it open till 9. I would too. We sit around my house all the time and say, I'm bored. Maybe I can wash the car. So I think we're way overworking this. I think this is a fine plan. There would not be and I think frankly those hours of these competitors, I think it's irrelevant. It's demand driven. If they could do business between 7 and 8 or 7 and 9, they'd be open until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. They're not doing enough business. That's why they close at 7. So I think we're kind of overblowing a lot of this stuff. I do think this is a very appropriate plan. There's demand for these uses. It certainly is an appropriate parcel for this kind of use. And we've been over it a number of times in the years. I think this is about as good as we're going to get on this parcel, and I think they really have worked pretty hard to check off a lot of those boxes. I hate that cliche, I know we use it all the time, but check off a lot of those things, landscaping and, and site layout and how they position things, that you're just about got as good as you're going to get on this parcel. So I certainly would support it and hope my colleagues do too. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I'd like to mention a few things. So, my discussions with people who live next to car washes, that it's almost unlivable. That if they're in close proximity to the car wash, that it's an incessant noise, and that the house, and the thoughts that I've had, and not the thoughts, but the discussions that I've had were that it's not really a livable situation. In the backyard, their living space was no longer, a place of refuge. It's something that while the car wash is being operated, while the dryers are there, and while and also an inverter in the case that I'm thinking of, was made the house not the same value that it was before the car wash was built. So I kind of support these thoughts on the hours. But can we go to the landscaping piece of it? I like your thoughts on enhancing the landscaping buffer. It seemed fairly light. One row of trees, and it's not even the same as the row that's adjacent to the homes. And so I think it's a small ask, and I think that it was supportive by the applicant to enhance that. So is there a way to build that into the conditions? It looks like they already have landscape two conditions, condition number 4 and condition number 5, both address landscape at the time of I guess the site plan approval, with both a 15-foot wide landscape buffer.
I think, Jack, that the company had agreed to enhance that.
Just agreed, so it's just going to be part of the...
It's just that, right, they're going to enhance that with some lower. And so, Dave, to your point, when we were out there, and I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate that, and it is a beautiful design with the BMP and the walking trails, and without a doubt, but the proximity of these townhouses to this particular car wash, and I know this because we have a business that's close to a car wash, which is further away than these houses are from a car wash. They can be invasive in that kind of setting, regardless of how you do it. They just can be. We just experience it. We're a business, and it doesn't bother us because we're open late, so it doesn't matter. But to this being so close, and that's why I had requested the 7 o'clock and the additional lower landscape on those trees because of where the houses were. They actually face the back of that. They don't face the B&P. This particular row of houses face the back of this car wash. And that was why I asked for the lower additional landscaping, was just so that they had a little more privacy from the cars driving in, because they have to come in on that way. And when they come in, it's just not used to it. So I was just trying to make it a little nicer for those neighbors.
Yep.
I don't disagree at all. I mean, more landscaping anywhere is the better for me. However, I think it's very unfair to lump all car washes in. Every single piece of property is different. There are great differences in these businesses. I mean, I just told you 70 decibels is the sound of a dishwasher or a washing machine that I think is 300 feet, you said, from the nearest residence? 350 feet from the nearest residence, there's the sound of a dishwasher. I mean, I have a hard time finding that terribly, impactful. And to say car washes are bad, they ruin neighborhoods, I don't think, well, he did. No, he did. So, I mean, this idea that they're all lumped together in one way, I mean, that seems to me to be very concrete information that we ought to base our decision on, and not some sort of broad generalization about some other brand on some other site, some other neighborhood on some other part of the city. I mean, we do have specifics on this, and I think we ought to kind of do each one of these applications specifically on their own merits is the fair way to do that. So 350 feet, 68 decibels strikes me as well having gotten over the bar.
Mr. Chair, may I further address?
I don't, we're kind of in closed session right now, so yeah, I appreciate it, thanks.
I completely agree with you on the landscaping. I mean, I think that's wonderful. More landscaping, the better, in my view, pretty much anywhere.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, so, back to the time, and I appreciate Dee's, time frame, but I think they've got 7:30 to 9 p.m. daily. I mean, I'd be willing. What are your thoughts on 8 p.m.? Kind of, splitting the difference. I mean, I understand, the distance, but the operation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good with 8, Mr. Chairman.
You good with 8? Okay. All right, and we would expect that the landscaping plan would be revised between now and City Council to show possibly an enhanced landscaping plan, but we don't have that in writing. So, is there?
May I further address this?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Go for it.
In another life, I was a litigator, and so
Okay,
I'm used to being before a judge, and it's a welcome opportunity for me to be before you instead of a judge.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak to that landscape plan. We have since revised to include some of the landscaping that's being discussed, so that if you'll see along Old Clubhouse, which I think is where the folks are talking about, there are canopy trees there now, essentially for the purpose of sound barrier. But what we've done is we've also added since, as of this morning, additional shrubbery bushes between the canopy trees to provide some additional buffering. And then if I may further, just on the point of noise, I won't belabor the point. But our clients have engaged the community significantly, and I personally have talked to over 50, maybe 60 residents at this point, and not one of them has expressed any concern about the hours of operation. So I just wanted to point that out because traffic was a concern, and we've worked real hard to remedy that. And had hours of operation been an issue for residents, that's certainly something that we would have addressed, but it has not been brought up. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I add? I don't want to.
By all means.
I'm sorry, Bobby, do you want to say something?
Yes, I needed to ask Mr. Pakta a question, Mr. Chair, if that's possible.
Sure.
We just want to hammer out and finalize the landscape plan that is not shown on the screen right now, and so just want to make sure that we understand how we can put wording to it. This is not the updated landscape plan, is it, Wall? Is that the updated one that Mr. Pox is referring to? Okay. Do you know the width of that landscape plan, Mr. Pacta? The width of the existing landscaping, if you include, I'm assuming from where it looks like you have a hedgerow right here now. On this plan, you're going to fill that in with additional landscaping going towards Old Clubhouse Road?
That's correct. It runs the length of those canopy trees. And I'd send it to Mr. Dow. I'm going to resend that to him.
Just trying to make sure that we can craft a condition addressing that according to the wishes of the Planning Commission. Do you know how wide that is to those trees, Mr. Pacta?
I can't. It's a very recent addition, so I'm going to have to reference it. I'm going to send that to Mr. Dow now. I should also mention on the landscaping itself, the houses that are actually in closest proximity to the actual dryer are the ones that are along Yarborough and not actually the houses that are along Old Clubhouse. So the reason that the planning department and I and the client have worked together on the evergreen tree buffer a little more significantly is because that's actually the buffer that's in closest proximity to the houses.
I think that's good for now, Mr. Chair. We'll work on that.
I think that's good for now. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Okay. I think that should be documentation enough once it's received and included for the application between now and council.
Mr. Chairman. So I'm not making up new hours on this thing. These guys submitted an application with hours as 9 p.m. Mr. Pacta says he hasn't heard anything from anybody in all of his conversations where people are objecting to those hours. And there are 2 residents who are here today who prefer 9 p.m. I don't know that I don't think that it's I'm not done yet, but I don't know that it's our place to make up new things to fix what ain't broken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, I mean, they've made an application with 9 p.m. and I'm going to move that we approve the application.
Okay, so is that a motion to approve the application?
That is a motion to approve the application as submitted. Oh.
Takes care of that landscaping too then, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Do we need to add that? Should I say that?
Just revert. So I just want to make sure I'm clear before I make my vote, because I'm not going to support it at 9 o'clock. And that's fine. That's just where you and I differ. But do you want the application to have the landscaping or not have that landscaping?
No, absolutely, to include. Okay. Does it have to be a condition, did we decide?
I think it's already, you'll have to ask Mr. DeHaan.
I think we need to add, just to be clear for staff, we'll add a condition number 12, if that's okay, Mr. Redmond, with your motion, that a vegetated landscape buffer from Old Clubhouse Road, approximately 65 feet in width, shall be provided by the applicant. I believe it's about 65 feet in width, if that's based on the dimensions that I see on the plan. So, Mr. Pacta, does that sound about correct?
I'm sorry, can you state that again, Mr. DeHaan?
Based on the existing plan that you have, it looks like the landscape buffer from Old Clubhouse Road that you're going to propose, goes to about 65 feet from Old Clubhouse Road in towards the property, where that existing tree line that you're proposing on here is.
That sounds right. Mr. DeHaan, so the additional shrubbery, the additional landscaping is between the walking trail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, come on forward. Thank you. Thank you. Come on up.
Yeah, so the additional landscaping buffer being provided is between the walking trail and the canopy trees. But it runs the length of those canopy trees and actually extends a couple of feet in either direction beyond. So it's a little bit longer than that canopy tree buffer, but it is between the walking trail and those canopy trees.
Can we add I see your point trying to define that landscape buffer. Could it be that landscaping plan as revised on September 14th, 2022 as submitted by the applicant?
Yes, we can do that. Yes.
Okay, so that vegetated landscape buffer as submitted by the applicant to be submitted on 14 September 2022.
You want me to start over?
Okay. So that's condition number 12. Okay, so that's added. Okay. And now back, so we have, and that would include.
So yeah, just to be clear, so I'm
Yeah.
going to move approval of the application with the addition of an additional condition, stop me if I make a mistake, additional condition for additional landscaping on Old Clubhouse Road as identified by the landscaping plan submitted on September 14th, 2022.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion made by Mr. Redmond. Do we have a second?
Second.
So we have a second by Mr. Costin.
Well, and I'm going to make a substitute motion that we go to the hours that they suggested at 8 o'clock with, I feel like I'm in a bidding war, with the landscape, additional landscape.
I'll second that.
Do we have to vote on
Yes.
the first one? No.
Put on substitute first.
Yeah,
We
you
vote on the substitute first. Is that correct?
Yes, you vote on the substitute first.
So we vote on the substitute first. Okay, yeah.
Hold on, give us a second. This is,
Well, who made Ms. Oliver made the motion. Who was the second? Vote is open.
this is,
This is a substitute motion.
reread the?
no, I'm sorry. You are now voting, so I apologize. Let me clarify for the commission. Ms. Oliver proposed, with the second of Mr. Weiner, a substitute motion to revise the hours of operation to end at 8 p.m. for the car wash, and including the landscape condition that was already previously read.
Yes.
So right now on the floor is as a vote to make that the main motion. Is that correct, Ms. Wilson?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Okay. So on the floor now is a motion to make that the main motion. So.
And we'll vote on that motion as the main motion. Okay, we're going to do two votes, not one. So let's start with making Ms. Oliver's motion for the time and.
Please turn your mic on.
We need to vote on that.
But Mr. Redmond's motion is on the computer.
Oh, yeah, he's got
Okay.
Bear with us just a minute. Oh, okay, Ms. Clay, we're going to close this vote and try it again. Bear with us just a minute. Okay, Ms. Oliver, can you hit motion? Yes. And then Mr. Weiner. Okay, now the vote is open. By recorded vote of 6 in favor, 4 against, substitute motion made by Commissioner Oliver for modified hours and landscaping modification has passed, recommended for approval.
No.
I'm sorry.
That's not what we just
then-
did,
It is now the main motion that is on the floor.
right? You have just said that's the main motion that's on the floor. They voted to make Ms. Oliver's motion the main motion. See, I told you.
So do I need to repeat the motion now to vote on it?
Bear with us, we're opening the vote again. Yeah. This is the main motion.
Yes, can you please move again, Ms. Oliver and Mr. Weiner?
The motion here is to make Ms. Oliver's motion the main motion.
They've already passed that.
Okay, we're just going to ignore that. Okay, now we're going to do Ms. Oliver's motion, vote on her motion.
Correct.
Yes, the vote is open. Mr. Frankenfield? By a vote of 9 in favor, 1 against, the motion is recommended for approval with modified hours and landscape modification.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, that's the last?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so that's the last agenda item. I appreciate it thank you for participating in today's Planning Commission hearing. Meeting is adjourned.